Have you ever had that moment when you exploded at someone you love and then found yourself wondering, who was that person who came out of me? Maybe it was at your partner, your children, or even a stranger in traffic. An anger that seemed to come from nowhere, disproportionate, almost primitive. If you're going through menopause or approaching it, this scene probably isn't foreign to you. And here's what nobody tells you. You're not going crazy. You're not becoming a terrible person. In fact, you're being called to one of the deepest and most transformative journeys of your life. I know you're tired of hearing that it's just a phase or it's just your age. I know you feel misunderstood when they try to reduce your emotional complexity to mere hormonal symptoms. The truth is, you're experiencing something much deeper than estrogen fluctuations. You're being called to an internal revolution. But what if I told you that this anger you feel isn't the problem? What if it were actually the solution? What if all this emotional intensity were exactly the fuel you need to finally free yourself from decades of self-sacrifice and silencing? Brené Brown, the researcher who revolutionized our understanding of vulnerability, courage, and authenticity, made a discovery that completely changed how we understand female menopause. After years studying shame, vulnerability, and courage, she noticed something that the medical community had neglected for decades. Brown discovered that menopause isn't just a biological transition, it's an existential crisis programmed by nature. It's the moment when a woman is forced to confront all the masks she's worn, all the roles she's played, and all the times she betrayed herself to keep the peace. She calls this the midlife unraveling. It's when the armor you built to protect yourself from vulnerability begins to crack, and you can no longer pretend everything is okay when it's not. Think about how many times you swallowed your truth to avoid bothering others. How many times you smiled when you wanted to scream, said yes when you wanted to say no, or made yourself smaller so others could feel bigger. For decades, you built an identity based on being the good daughter, the understanding wife, the dedicated mother, the competent professional. But now, with the hormonal changes of menopause, your body is literally refusing to sustain this performance. It's as if nature were saying, enough, now it's your turn. Imagine your life as a house where you were always the caretaker. You cleaned, organized, took care of everything and everyone, but never stopped to ask, does this house reflect who I really am? Menopause is like someone turning on all the lights in this house, and you, for the first time, clearly seeing all the corners you ignored, all the dirt you swept under the rug. And then comes the anger. It's not just irritation, it's an ancestral fury. It's the anger from all the times you betrayed yourself. It's the anger of having wasted years trying to be perfect instead of being real. It's the anger of having accepted crumbs when you deserved the whole feast. Here's the cruel irony. Society taught you that female anger is dangerous, destructive, something to be controlled. So you learned to transform your anger into depression, into headaches, into sleepless nights, into various addictions. You learned to turn this energy against yourself. But Brown discovered that this anger is actually the portal to your freedom. It's the alarm that rings when you're living a life that isn't yours. Now, here's the truth you need to hear, even if it hurts. You can no longer blame just the hormones. You can no longer hide behind the excuse that it's a difficult phase. This anger is showing you exactly where you need to create boundaries, where you need to say no, where you need to reclaim your space. You spent decades believing that being a good woman meant being small, silent, always available. But what if I told you that this isn't goodness, it's self-destruction? What if true goodness were honoring who you really are instead of who you think you should be? Menopause is forcing you to confront the most frightening question of all. Who am I when I'm not trying to please everyone? This question is terrifying because you spent so much time being what others needed that you forgot who you really are. Brené Brown discovered that the way out isn't to control the anger, it's to listen to it. She proposes what she calls wholehearted living. It's the process of dismantling the armor you built and daring to be seen as you really are. I won't lie to you, this process is lonely and scary. You're going to disappoint people. You're going to lose relationships that only existed because you made yourself smaller. You're going to discover that some people in your life only loved you for your availability, not for your essence. But here's what's also going to happen. You're going to discover yourself. You're going to find your voice. You're going to learn that it's possible to be loved exactly as you are, not as you should be. Imagine yourself a few years from now. You wake up and no longer feel that anxiety of not being good enough. You speak your truth without fear. You establish boundaries without guilt. You choose relationships based on genuine connection, not on need. You finally understand that your anger wasn't the problem, it was the solution. It was your soul screaming, "I exist, I matter, I deserve to be seen and heard." Your relationships are completely transformed, not because you became a difficult person, but because you became a real person. The people who truly love you will celebrate this new version of you. And those who can't handle your authenticity, they weren't really your people anyway. You discover that true love isn't about being needed, it's about being chosen. And you learn to choose yourself too. Every day, you wake up and decide to be faithful to who you really are, not to who you think you should be. Brené Brown teaches us that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's feeling the fear and choosing to be vulnerable anyway. Your anger in menopause isn't a flaw to be fixed. It's a call to courage. Menopause is your second chance. It's nature giving you one last opportunity to live authentically. Millions of women before you wasted this opportunity, accepting that it's just the way it is and resigning themselves to silence. Many women will choose medications to suppress the symptoms, therapies to control emotions, anything to go back to what it was before. But you can't go back, and that's the best news I can give you. You have a choice. You can see this phase as the end of your femininity or as the beginning of your real life. You can treat your anger as a problem to be solved or as a teacher to be heard. If this video touched something deep in you, if you recognized your own story here, I need you to do something. Share this message. Not to get likes or views, but because there's a woman somewhere who's feeling crazy, who's hating herself for no longer being able to be who she was before. She needs to know she's not alone. She needs to know her anger is sacred. She needs to know her transformation is possible. Like this video if it resonated with you. Share it so more women can hear this truth. And subscribe to the channel because we'll continue exploring these deep truths about the female experience that nobody else wants to talk about. Your journey back home to yourself begins now, and I'll be here to walk with you.